I appreciate Chairman Arrington putting forth what Congress has lacked to put forth so many times. But yet we have this amendment that would strike Section 415, and instead of a focus on deregulation, it seeks to expand federal efforts to fight climate change within our budget resolution and build upon the IRA. Overregulation has consistently hurt small businesses. It has strangled the growth capacity in our nation. It is the catalytic converter that's choking out the opportunity for our roaring engine, our economy, to produce what it needs to have the kind of enhancement to our GDP, in addition to cutting spending. According to the American Action Forum, since President Biden took office, his administration has published 792 final rules at a cost of $451 billion, $500 billion just by him bringing about more regulation. We are a country of regulation without representation, where unelected bureaucrats continue sitting in cubicles and enforcing their ideology upon the American people. $450 billion, this president alone, $500 billion in regulatory enhancements that's borne by the average family. And we have 400 agencies and sub-agencies staffed by these unelected bureaucrats who put forth these new regulations on the backs of our nation. This problem continues to get worse under President Biden. He spent $1.5 trillion through various decisions of using his executive action. Think of the student loan bailout. Think of the what he's done on enhancing food stamps. All absent Article 1, Section 1 that says all legislative powers be vested in the Congress. It's absent the rule of law. The burden of his expansion of government regulatory regimes is borne by small businesses, innovators, and yes, American families. This amendment seeks to replace deregulation section of our budget policy to encourage more spending on Green New Deal policies. The Inflation Reduction Act included billions of taxpayer dollars dedicated to these progressive climate provisions that President Biden and the Democrats put in place several years ago. This amendment seeks to enhance upon that. Already we have $27 billion going to the EPA that was enhanced just 2 and 3 years ago. $3 billion for climate block grants. $3.4 billion to convert federal buildings of the GSA into climate-friendly status. $2 billion to incentivize construction materials that are more climate-friendly. $3 billion for air pollution at U.S. ports. $1.5 billion for tree planting. Anybody know we have a $34 trillion gross national debt? $1 billion to force clean, heavy-duty vehicles forced upon the American people who can barely afford the vehicles on the road now. $3 billion for U.S. Postal Service, which is billions of dollars in debt for new electric vehicles at the displacement of affordable fossil fuel-powered engines.
Greetings, friends. They are finally doing it. Congressional lawmakers in the Senate have just passed important legislation that will avert a government shutdown and help fund key programs. President Biden has officially proposed a new plan that will affect many high-income households, but also provide aid for home buyers. My dearest friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, do stay tuned because I'll be announcing the winners of today's Walmart gift card giveaway. According to Yahoo News, the Senate just approved a $460 billion package of spending bills in time to meet a midnight deadline in order to avoid a government shutdown of many key federal agencies. It is a vote that gets lawmakers about halfway home in wrapping up their appropriations work for the 2024 budget year. The measure contains 6 annual spending bills and has already passed the House. It now goes to President Biden to be signed into law. The White House said he would do so on Saturday, and agencies will not shut down and may continue their normal operations. Meanwhile, lawmakers are negotiating a second package of 6 bills, including defense, in an effort to have all federal agencies fully funded by a March 22nd deadline. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer told reporters, "To folks who worry that divided government means nothing ever gets done, This bipartisan package says otherwise. He said the bill's passage would allow for the hiring of more air traffic controllers and rail safety inspectors, give federal firefighters a raise, and boost support for homeless veterans, among other things. The Senate passed a bill by a vote of 75 to 22. The chamber labored to get to a final vote, just hours before the midnight deadline for the first set of appropriation bills. Lawmakers sought votes on several amendments and wanted to have their say on the bill and other priorities during debate on the floor. It was unclear midday if senators would be able to avert a short shutdown, though eventual passage was never really in doubt. The votes this week come more than 5 months into the current fiscal year, after congressional leaders relied on a series of stopgap bills to keep federal agencies funded for a few more weeks or months at a time, while they struggled to reach agreement on full-year spending. But in the end, total discretionary spending set by Congress is expected to come in at about $1.66 trillion for the full-year budget, ending on September 30th. Republicans were able to keep non-defense spending relatively flat compared to the previous year. Many Republican lawmakers were seeking much steeper cuts and more policy victories. The House Freedom Caucus, which contains dozens of the GOP's most conservative members, urged Republicans to vote against the first spending package and the second one still being negotiated. However, Republicans were able to achieve some policy wins. For example, one provision will prevent the sale of oil in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to China. Senate Republican Rand Paul said one problem he sees with the bill is that there was too much compromise, and that led to too much spending. Still, with a divided Congress and a Democratic-led White House, any bill that does not have buy-in from members of both political parties stands no chance of passage. The bill also includes more than 6,600 projects requested by individual lawmakers, with a price tag of about $12.7 billion. Also, friends, during the president's recent speech, Biden proposed a $5,000 tax credit for the first-time homebuyers to put towards their mortgage, which he said amounts to an estimated $400 per month. In addition, the White House has put forward a $10,000 tax credit for families who sell their starter homes, since many homebuyers have clung to their current low mortgage rates rather than take on a new home at much higher rates. Well, my great and beautiful friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Friday. My dearest friends, thank you so much for being part of this community. The winners of today's Walmart gift card giveaway is Evelyn Miller and Rose Towery. Congratulations, my dearest friends. To claim your gift cards, please check your notifications page and send me a message. Or, my dear friends, you could message me on my Facebook page. Thank you, and have a wonderful and very blessed Friday.